Hello,
Hello,
everyone, and
everyone, and
welcome to
welcome to
tonight's
tonight's
Green
Green
Wave
Wave
2020.
2020.
My name is James Lane. I'm a member of the Black Caucus of the Green Party of the United States, and I'm honored to be here tonight to introduce you to four very amazing candidates. Actually, the whole program will introduce you to candidates from around the country, but joining us live should be 3 to 4 candidates that I'll have the pleasure of interviewing and letting you know about. And also, the most important thing, well, along with getting these candidates elected or reelected to office, is also to let everybody know about our Green Party Coordinated Campaign Committee, which is responsible for helping to enlist new candidates, give them training resources, and any other resources that they need to run for office around the country. Because it's really hard to run for office, and we want to make sure that our candidates aren't left out there alone, and that they have all the resources that they need from our national party. Um, so that being said, I'd like to kick off the show. All right. So the first candidate that I have for tonight is Jessica Clayton. Jessica is running for re-election for Board of Elections in Brick Township, New Jersey. So, Jessica, please feel free to introduce yourself.
Hi, yes, my name is Jessica Clayton. I'm running for Board of Education in Bricktown, New Jersey. And I just want to let everyone know that I am currently on the board, and everything I say tonight only represents me, Jessica Clayton, not the Board of Education in Brick Township, New Jersey, just me.
Very good. And tell me about your offices you're running for. Now, you're running for re-election, which is nice to say as a Green Party, someone interviewing a Green Party candidate. Let us know a bit more about that office that you're running for re-election for.
So Board of Education is a position that supervises the superintendent, and it also is a policy-making body. And it has been a pleasure to be on the board for the past 3 years. I have, I hope, influenced all of the administrators to move them in the direction that I would like the district to go in. And I would like to do a little more work on the board in the next coming 3 years. Yeah.
And how's your campaign going right now?
It's going well. It's a little different now that we're in a pandemic. So the 3 years ago, I spent a lot of times at festivals and township events and passed out cards. And this year, it's been a lot of virtual. We also bought signs, and since the ballot came in early and is going out early, we're putting out our signs a little early. So if anyone local is listening and you need a sign, I have one for you to put on your front yard.
That's very good. Yeah, and that's one of the things. So, and especially during this time, resources like donations, have they been harder to come by because a lot of people are facing a lot of economic issues due to the pandemic?
Yes, and honestly, it's a little bit scarier to ask. I don't. I love my friends and family, but I know that they're going through tough times financially. Some furloughed from their jobs, and it's nice when the Green Party of the United States and the Green Party of New Jersey and my local Ocean County chapter of the Green Party were all able to support my campaign. But I could definitely use a little more funding. I would like to run some radio ads. I thought that would be a great way to get my voice out there locally during the pandemic. And I need a little extra push at the end to get them on the air soon.
That's great. Well, I mean, you sound like a great person that I would, if maybe even after the broadcast, you might see a donation coming from me. Yeah. But one of the things, and this is what you seem like, a nice person. So why do you want to run for office? I mean, why do you want to, commit so much of your personal time to the board of, to your office? So let me know a bit more about, like, how you decided to run for office, and your successes and struggles as running as a Green as well.
Absolutely. So I run an outdoor nature play school. It's for early childhood education, and it's right here. I run it right out of my house, and it's a very interesting, maybe progressive way to think about education. I teach my kids almost entirely outside, and I teach them through play and through project exploration. And so I know the value of getting kids outside. And 3 years ago, when I first wanted to see on the board, I found out that the teachers and we're taking away recess from kids as punishment. And I know that that is the wrong thing to do. So I decided to run so that I could influence the administration to make sure that they were stop taking away recess for punishment, because recess is essential for kids to not just for exercise, but for their emotional break from the structure of the day. It brings them joy and happiness. In fact, it improves their social emotional skills, their health in general. Just being outside makes everyone feel better. And that was why I originally started to run. But now that I have my foot in the door, what happened over the past 3 years is that we lost our state funding, about $24 million. Over the course of 7 years, we're losing that much money. But there's no way for us to recoup those funds because there's a cap on how much money you can take back from your local township. So what's going to happen is our funding is just going to decrease and decrease. And so I've gotten started on the fight to get our funding back from the state to assure that our students get all the resources they need. Already, we've had to close a school. We've cut over 70 jobs, and there's not a lot of wiggle room left. The classroom sizes are increasing, and I don't think that is fair for the state to mandate that we lose all their funding, especially when we operate well below what they say is an adequate and fair share amount for our students. So one of the reasons why I'm running is so that I can take my organization skills to the state, to the town, help get people motivated, and fight for the funding that we need to run our schools.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of interesting. Did they give you any kind of justification for their decrease in funding? Just asking because in New York, I know that a lot of our funding is tied to increased class size. They want the class sizes to be larger. They want more mandatory testing. They want all these kind of things. Did they give you, like, what were their reasons for cutting funding? Like, what was the criteria that you were currently meeting?
So the problem in New Jersey is there's not enough money in the budget to give us all enough money. So some different municipalities were underfunded as well. So they decided they were going to look at the allocation of funding. And what they have decided from a very convoluted formula that they won't release to us, we don't know why or what the formula was, but they determined that our taxpayers in town should be paying more taxes and that we don't need state funding. We need to tax more from our local community, which we can't even assess whether or not that's a good assessment, because they haven't given us a formula that tells us why or how they've determined that our tax base needs to pay more. And complementing that further is we can't increase the taxes in order to recoup the losses. So either way, our students are going to lose the money like every year a little bit more, and it increases exponentially. So it was $1 million, $2 million. This year it's $5 million. We've already shaved off millions of dollars, and the cost of education goes up every year. And yet we have to start paying less and less. We're only going to have to cut funding, and it's just not fair.
Yeah.
So I'm here to fight for the kids and the kids in Brick Township because they need that money.
Well, it's great because we're here to fight for you and help you get reelected. So one of the biggest things that we want to find out and let everybody that's watching this right now is how can Greens and Green allies across the country help you get reelected? Like, are there any events that you're doing either in person or virtual that we could support? Are there any fundraising goals you're trying to make? Any kind of, get out the vote goals you're trying to make?
So right now I'm trying to raise money. So donations. You can visit my Facebook page. I just have a facebook.com/JClaytonBoE you can go to, and then right at the top, it's pinned the donation page. If you could give me just $5 or $10, anything that could move me closer to that goal so I can help pay for those radio ads. I'd like to get my voice out there to make sure that the people know what my campaign's about and know why I'm here to be reelected.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much. And with that, I'd like to close out this segment because I think we're approaching time. And it was really great to meet you. Oh, sorry. I think my mic is a little bit low here. Yeah. So thank you so much for your time. And I'm going to move on to the next candidate, I believe. I'm just waiting to hear from the director on the back end. Okay, great. Thank you. Okay. So yes, so that was Jessica we were just speaking to, and once again, during this broadcast, I'm going to be letting everybody know about these great candidates that we have running for office around the country, all the things that they're trying to do, trying to accomplish. Their struggles as running as Greens. There's a lot
lot
of
of
backlash
backlash
for
for
even
even mentioning that word. People just have predetermined assumptions about what we stand for without even talking to us or hearing our platform or anything like that until the Democratic Party steals it from it and makes it part of their own. So, but the most important thing about tonight is we're trying to also raise money for our campaign coordinating committee because as great as these candidates are, as strong and as brave as they are to go out there and do the thankless job of running for office but bringing great ideas to these offices and actually getting elected and reelected in some cases requires a lot of help. It requires a lot of support. It requires a lot of outreach, get out the vote, campaign materials, phone calls, all that stuff. And it just can't be done
just
just
by
by
wishing these things will happen. They actually have to pound the pavement, make those phone calls. And what we try to do on the national level is also provide resources for them. As Jessica mentioned during her interview segment, especially now during this time of COVID and this pandemic and social economic crises, people don't have the funds to donate, or they might not have the time, or they might be just too overwhelmed about the stresses of just day to day living to get as involved as they used to in the past. So it's up to us at the national level to really lend in that hand and give that support that they need right now. And so that's why we're making this pitch to make this happen. So now, all that being said, I'm going to turn over to Ben Micklejohn. Ben is a Green Independent running for state representative in the House District 135, pardon me, in Maine. So, Ben, would you mind introducing yourself?
I'm
I
Benjamin
think Ben might
Micklejohn,
be
running
frozen.
for Maine's
Okay.
House District 130.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm going to hold for 2 seconds. Ben is having some weather issues right now, so his connectivity might be a little bit choppy. So I'm going to try to cut back to him again. Ben, can you hear us?
Maybe a delay. I can hear. I'm hearing a delay.
Okay. So we're trying to figure out the situation live because that's what we do. Okay, good. So yeah, like I mentioned before, Ben is having a little bit of tech issues over there. There's high winds in the area that he's working in, most likely created by climate change. Something that as Greens we're trying to help improve by trying to make the Green New Deal, the real Green New Deal that the Green Party put out, realization. I think Ben's trying to cut back in. No, not yet. And once again, like I said, this program is really like during this time while we're trying to work out these tech issues, we really want to talk more about the campaign coordinating committee. Like I said, the Green Party, many of our members are just regular, everyday people, that signed up and registered as Green, without the knowledge that once you become a Green, you actually will probably be doing some more work in the party because it is a grassroots organization and it really relies a lot on human energy as opposed to corporate money and PAC dollars and all that kind of stuff. So it's really fueled by the movement. It's really fueled by the people that are passionate about the movement, about people that are passionate for bringing social economic justice to the world, about bringing environmental wisdom to people that don't know about the issues, or for bringing more grassroots democracy. A lot of our Greens are out there campaigning not only to get themselves elected, but also to represent the Green Party and its values, its 4 pillars and 10 key values, and bring those ideas and thoughts into the offices that they're running for and into those communities that they're representing. I mean, we've seen around the world, people don't realize in America, that the Green Party is not something that just came up. And like every 4 years, we just talk about the Green Party. Green Party candidates run every year, sometimes multiple times in a year, depending on the elections. We exist. We're here. We've been here since maybe 1998 running for office, maybe 1996 officially. We've been an official party since 2001 in America. And I believe in 1984 or so, in Germany, and globally, we've been around. And a lot of policies that people are seeing. y- Okay, I think we have Ben. I don't know if we might have to just do audio
Audio
for
for
Ben and
Ben
no
and no
video.
video?
For me, you hear me well. For me,
Yeah. Okay, great. Sorry, everybody. Like I said, we're just going through some technical issues. Weather and internet doesn't really like each other too well. So I want to introduce everybody to Jake Tonkel. Jake's running for San Jose District 6. Is that correct, Jake?
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay, great. So I'm going to turn it over to you to officially let everybody know about you, yourself, and what office you're running for.
Appreciate it. Again, my name is Jake Tonkel. I'm running for San Jose.
I can hear Jake.
You guys can hear me okay? Yeah, all right. Hopefully we don't have any, I know we don't have any massive wind here in California at the moment. Our smoke-filled skies were last week and the week before. I'm running for San Jose City Council, particularly District 6. It is your west side of the city, your single-family home, wealthy part of San Jose, and it has a very interesting dynamic. I decided to run for office over a year and a half ago when we had our March primaries, making sure that we were putting equity at the forefront of city policy. As top 5 most unequal cities in the entire country, and actually the fastest growing inequality. We've really been seeing how it's impacted daily life in San Jose, where our district and our city are becoming more divided. And I speak very similarly about District 6 as I do to San Jose as a whole, because we're facing this time where more and more families living here are being forced to rent and are struggling to get by. And that happens kind of on an east-west divide in San Jose. East side of our city has a very heavy Latino population. The west part is certainly more white. And then within my district, we're still about 30% Latinx, but centered around the highways and the thoroughfares where you have the most pollution, where they're most impacted. And then we try and cram in all of our affordable housing into these areas because the community there does not have the same voice at City Hall. And so really being able to represent District 6 appropriately is about bringing diverse voices into the conversation. I'm actually going to address a Facebook comment, someone that posted on my page, why do you talk about renters so much? We're primarily single family home neighborhoods in District 6. We're the majority, and they're not. Our last census 10 years ago showed that we were actually 50-50 renter and homeowner, and now we're certainly much more renter. But the power structures that exist make it so that renters are less likely to vote, less likely to engage in the political process, working multiple jobs. We are an extremely expensive city. And when we don't have representatives in all the council districts that understand that dichotomy, we're not going to take the right steps to solve them. And that's what our campaign's hoping to do.
That's really great. And actually, I wanted to find out some more information about how your campaign is going over there. Have you been getting a lot of media attention? Any press covering you, or?
It's been a good covered race. The primary was weird. I challenged an incumbent, someone that everyone told me don't challenge the incumbent. They're particularly popular. It'll just be a waste of your time. And the media never covered us up until like January, February, right up before the primary. And we actually squeaked through. In San Jose. We have, an open primary with a top two election. But if the top vote getter gets over 50%, then they win in the primary. And there won't be an election that shows up on the November ballot, which absolutely marginalizes, again, our lower income voters, people that don't vote in the primary. And so we've got that whole issue that skews the election. Since then, we've only been able to build momentum to the point where this race is going to be really close. I'm Green candidate who has picked up endorsements from sitting state senators, from our AFL-CIO labor union here in the South Bay in California, because I'm running against a very conservative incumbent, someone who was actually a Republican up until 2018. And so we've really been able to build a progressive movement that partners with Democratic organizations and Greens and independent progressives to be able to build a lot of momentum. And we must be scaring people, because over the last week and a half, independent expenditures from the California Apartment Association, from our local Chamber of Commerce, from our POA have dropped about $100,000 in advertisements against me. And so that only tells me that we're a threat and that we're doing very well in this race so far.
Yeah, that's really great. And, I didn't really ask you more about yourself before I asked about the struggles of your campaign, because I'm trying to figure out, were you involved in these movements before you started to run? What's your background? Like, what made you decide to run for office and even run as a Green, or were you a Green before? So a couple of questions about that.
Yeah, so my social justice story got started with my mom. She and my dad got divorced when I was about 10 years old and went back to school at UC Santa Cruz studying women's studies and sociology. And through her studies, got really involved in the anti-war movement. So I knew about the Green Party back when I was 12, 13, 14 years old, and turned 18, registered with the Green Party right away. And I've really been registered as a Green since. My particular background is in engineering and then sustainability studies. I always thought I wanted to go into renewable energy, the intersection of what I thought I was good at in school and our world's most complex, challenging issue, the climate crisis that we have, and ended up jumping into the biomedical sphere. I work at a small healthcare startup, but always had passion for organizing and activism outside of my day job. I was a Peace Corps volunteer. I spent about 2.5 years in Morocco, a small village 3 hours east of Marrakesh, doing community outreach, essentially. It was my role, and particularly proud of the shift that Peace Corps as a program has had over the last couple of years, shifting towards community development in this model that is about listening to people and connecting with the resources that they decide that they need, that are most culturally appropriate, not the, for lack of a better word, savior complex of let me come in and provide you with what I think will give you a Western culture that you're going to love and enjoy. And so I learned a lot through that experience. It's really been pivotal for a diverse community like City of San Jose, like District 6, where we have a large Latino population, Vietnamese, Chinese. There are always going to be things that you have to understand through a cultural lens. And when politics doesn't do that, we make a lot of mistakes. So
Yeah,
I am really hoping that diversity of my background will be able to allow me to lift up new voices in our community and really represent people.
I have our director talking to the headset right now. You're breaking up now. Okay. Yeah. Anyway, sorry about that. All right.
No
They're
worries.
probably still working on some tech issues. So Jake, just want to ask, more hearing a lot of background noise going on. More information about the endorsements that you received. I mean, the endorsements that you talked about at the beginning of this interview was pretty amazing. Um, because it always seems like, especially in this climate now, where there's a lot of we must get Trump out of office. We must, Trump, Trump, Trump. And I'm just wondering if even though you have these endorsements from these organizations, if you feel like there's a Democratic presence, that's even though this guy is very conservative, was recently Republican, that you feel this is going to come in, and even though you have these endorsements, try to pull that support away from you. Just trying to get some more information about that.
It's been a really awesome process, actually. I think on a local level, the Santa Clara County Democratic Party is much more progressive, and we've been able to work with them pretty closely. We actually had allies go in and change their bylaws so that members of the Democratic Party, elected officials, could endorse when there was no Democrat in the race. So building that allyship has been very important, because this is San Jose. For the most part, everyone that wins an election is a Democrat. The challenge has really been on and off with voters. I would say 99.9% of voters are like, all right, cool, I've never voted for a Green before, but you sound like you're going to do a great job. And every once in a while, you'll get someone who's really concerned about me being a Green when they want to get Trump out of office. And that's just been an opportunity for us to start the dialogue of what strategic voting might be. California is a very safe state to vote for a third party. And so we've been able to push that conversation as well, which I think has been really healthy. The other piece has really been about labor support. San Jose and most major cities at this point, it's less Democrat-Republican divide and more labor chamber of commerce divide, right? Labor unions have certainly understood working class values for a long time and are trying to push progressive agendas when they come through City Hall: quality wages, safe working conditions, etc. And so as we were able to build those relationships, that also really pushed the Democratic Party along as well, because they're tied fairly closely. And so because the Green Party has such strong working class values, we were able to build those relationships fairly easily. I've actually been told that our labor unions are less worried about the votes I'm going to make than some other Democrats that they have to partner with, because the working class values are so strongly entrenched in the social justice issues that I care about, that the Green Party cares about so much.
Great. And what about I've heard rumors that you guys are doing some stuff with COVID relief.
Yeah, that was a big change for us. As I said, July of last year, we started the campaign, and it was very much one-on-one relational organizing, door-to-door conversations that got us through the primary. I knocked on almost half of the doors in the entire district myself, and the volunteer team did all the other ones. So we hit every house once. People aren't always home, but that was our strategy. And when we made it through March, I was really excited to continue. I learned so much from one-on-one conversations. We were able to build a lot of trust, which, as I mentioned, some negative ads against us coming up. It's the trust we built before that makes people wave off those types of things. When COVID hit, we really wanted to focus on our community. So mutual aid organizations popped up, and we partnered with them to make check-in calls, particularly on renters and seniors, as those are the two most struggling demographics within San Jose right now, as well as our unhoused community. Myself, a couple other Greens, and some unhoused advocates in San Jose started an organization that was about getting hand sanitizer, masks, gloves, and actually information to our unhoused community. It has done a lot of good for the campaign as well, because it just really highlighted the fact that we're about getting things done, we're about helping people, and we're about focusing on the people that are traditionally marginalized in our community. And that resonated with folks, whether they ended up needing help or not. We made probably about 18,000 calls now. Almost every phone number that we have in the Rolodex for the campaign has been reached out to make sure they're doing okay during COVID. And that's been an incredible learning experience too. I mean, the things we were talking about beforehand, affordability, evictions, those were happening pre-COVID. And we really got to connect people with the right resources during COVID to make sure they knew what was going on. For me, someone who this is my first time running for office, a great opportunity for me to fill the role that I want. The job I had was constituent services. Here's the form you need to fill out to be able to protect yourself if you lose income. Here's an organization that I can connect you with that will be able to provide food. Those sort of things are the day-to-day operations of a city council district. And we were able to take our awesome volunteer team and make that happen really effectively to keep our community safe.
That's great. And thank you so much for it, because that's really great to hear all that. So we think we have Ben ready to join. So before we close out, just wanted you the opportunity to let everybody know about your website and where to find out more about you, and how they can help. Especially like I said, Greens and Green Allies around the country. You'll be surprised where they exist. So if you could let everybody know how to get involved.
Yeah, of course. I've been so excited by the support from Greens all over the country. Jake4d6.com is our website. Jake number 4, letter D, number 6. It's also our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter handle at Jake4d6. Obviously, we're in the final crunches of a very long election cycle, but extremely excited about what's coming up. As I said, we wouldn't be being attacked by the entities that we were if they weren't nervous about our ability to really win this election. So anything you can throw in to help, phone banking, text banking, a couple dollars here or there, go a long way. We actually outraised the incumbent for this seat in the last cycle by $49. We had almost 700 donations, and the incumbent had 141, I think. So you can sell, small donations make a difference when they come in. So Greens around the country, myself, the other candidates that are on here, a few dollars goes a long way, and it shares a message that there are people that will back grassroots campaigns and that they can really be successful when we all chip in together.
Well, that sounds great. So thank you so much for all that. And I thought we would have Ben come on after you, but it seems like we keep losing him, and it's really sad. Like I said, I wanted to have all of you guys have a nice time on the show. Once again, thank you, Jake. Thank you, Jessica. And once again, thank you to the Green Party of the United States for allowing me this opportunity to host this event. And most importantly, like I said, an opportunity to show the caliber of candidates that the Green Party produces. I mean, we can't produce you guys. You are your own people. You already have that built into you for justice and making things, making the world better for everybody. And what we try to do is just nurture that spirit of yours and bring you out to get to the constituents that you need to reach. Help you with any fundraising goals, help you with any volunteers that you need, any training resources, whatever you need. And a lot of this is all done through the campaign coordinating committee of the Green Party of the United States. Wait, I see Ben is trying to join again. He's appeared. Yeah, we can hear you. You want to try this? I'm waiting to hear if we have okay from the director, if the signal is good. Okay. So we're gonna wrap. Um, so thank you everybody that's watching this. Um, and so apologies for the tech issues. This is what happens in these live stream environments. Maybe we'll get a second round. I don't know. This is something we'll talk about after the stream. But it was really great meeting you guys. I spoke with Ben before the broadcast started, and I wish I had recorded or something because we could have played that. But thank you, everyone. And once again, as I mentioned, donating to the campaign coordinating committee. People want to know how to get there. It's gp.org/ccc. Very easy to remember. Anything you contribute would really help us. Like I said, we have a lot of Green candidates running. I think we have maybe about 200 candidates running for office. The three that we've tried to, introduce you to tonight are really strong candidates. Like I said, Jessica's running for re-election. Ben is actually someone who's held office before. So in a way, he's running for re-election. And of course, Jake is running a very, very amazing race in his district and really good, strong chance of winning as well. So with that, I think we're going to wrap up for the night. No, please.
How do I vote for the Green Party and Howie Hawkins for president in Virginia? In most presidential election years, the Green Party of Virginia solicits many thousands of signatures from the public to meet Virginia's ballot access requirements for our presidential candidate. This year, with the COVID-19 pandemic sickening and killing so many of our fellow Virginians, we felt it would be unethical to violate social distancing rules to gather enough signatures, and we requested action by the governor, the legislature, and the State Board of Elections to protect Virginians' voting rights while still preventing the further spread of the coronavirus, which would be the inevitable result of public signature gathering. However, state officials refused to make any concession to help us get on the ballot without endangering people. Consequently, this year, the presidential candidate nominated by the Green Party of the United States, Howie Hawkins, is an official write-in candidate in Virginia. You can vote for him and his running mate, Angela Walker, and for a politics that places people and planet ahead of profit for the few. But you must be careful to fill out your ballot correctly. Although there is variation in the appearance of the ballots depending on your voting district, every ballot for this November's election will include a space for a write-in candidate below the names of the other presidential candidates. You just need to do two things. First, make sure you color in the oval or rectangle in front of the space for the name. This is necessary for your vote to be counted. Second, just write in Howie Hawkins, HOWIE-HAWKINS, in the space provided. You do not need to write Angela Walker's name, just Howie's. This is the correct procedure whether you are voting by mail-in ballot, voting early at your local registrar's office, or voting at your local precinct on Election Day. By casting your vote for Howie, you are supporting the growth of a new kind of American politics, free from the control of the ultra-wealthy and dedicated to making a just and sustainable world for our children and grandchildren. This is the time to make your political voice heard.
Hello everyone, my name is Minister Toya Woodland and I am running for 5th Congressional District U.S. Representative here in Minnesota. I am running because for so long I have seen the need to put Minnesota and Minnesotans first. There needs to be someone who can bring us together as one Minnesota, one United States, and especially one 5th District. I believe that I am that person. I am that person that will put the needs of Minnesotans and Minnesota first so that our voices are heard, not only here in the neighborhoods, not only here at City Council, but in Congress, at the congressional level, so that we are fighting for each other. I'm going to Congress as your voice, not because I want to be popular, not to fight with Donald Trump, but I'm going because the needs of Minnesotans and the need of Minnesota has been overlooked for so long. Today there is someone, Minister Toya Woodland, who will put your needs first, who will fight on your behalf, who will be your voice in the wilderness. Today I'm asking that you cast your vote for Minister Toya Woodland because I do believe that it is highly important that we put Minnesota and Minnesotans first. Thank you.
Hello, thanks for tuning in. My name is Tom Mayer. My last name is spelled M-A-I-R. And I'm running on the ballot for a statewide board, and these boards are related to education. The board I'm running for is called the State Board of Education, or the Board of Education for the state of Michigan. It's a department in government in Lansing, and this is the executive board. I have a lot of board experience. I'm not a politician. I've been elected once, and I was thinking of running again for a county commission in my county, Grand Traverse County, but I decided this was more important. I believe very strongly about a good education in public schools. I'm a product of that myself, and I'm very concerned about healthcare. So those two things right now are really the most important things in my mind. They're at the top of the list. Oftentimes you hear STEM and STEAM referred to as for the curriculum in school, but I'll tell you, it doesn't make sense to me when the school boards of these districts meet safely online and they expect 30 people, 30 students and a teacher to show up in a classroom as though there's nothing going on. I think that the students and the parents really have to be much more involved in the decision of whether they go face to face. Now, in the intermediate school districts, which we also govern from the State Board of Education, I switch and I say that I think face to face is probably the best idea, even if it has to be one-on-one. But it could be one teacher to 3 students. It could be as detailed as one-to-one. So I think the most important thing right now is that we change a little bit of these school boards and move on. We need to be more progressive. We need to make sure we deliver an excellent education. And we need to tell people, let's just put it this way. I'm the opposite of Betsy DeVos. Betsy DeVos thinks school is a business. She's trying to develop a whole new business here in the United States. And I just don't agree. Public schools are not a business. And health and education, top things. Health and education. Thank you for listening.
From Washington, D.C., the nation's capital, I'm Perry Red, candidate for our legislative body, the D.C. Council, vying for the Ward 4 seat in this 2020 general election. I'm running a mano-a-mano campaign against the Democratic primary victor. Now, I wish I could tell you that this race will be a fair fight, but in a city where the electorate is 74% Democrat, I and the D.C. Statehood Green Party are indeed the underdogs. Though that reality is no surprise to anyone in the district, I aim to play Muhammad Ali and shock the world. You see, our party hasn't held a seat in our lawmaking body in well over a generation. And coupled with the challenge of campaigning during the COVID era, our mountain is high. But we'll make no excuses, nor will the Red for Council campaign pull any punches. I'll start out by saying Statehood Greens win the war of ideals. And this isn't my first rodeo. So I must remind DC and the country that I was a candidate, yours truly, 6 years ago to stand alone in the 2013 special election for the council to implement a living wage where all of our opponents, Democrat and Republican, couldn't fix their mouths to even say it. Now it's the law. I want to thank the Green Party of the United States for taking a bold stand in supporting the anti-violence, pro-democracy, aggressively green Red for Council campaign as we win war of ideals. Again, I'm Perry Red, candidate for the Ward 4 seat on the D.C. Council, unashamedly proud Statehood Green Party member right here in D.C. You're the best alternative to the two-party regime. Thank you, Green Party. Go Green!
Hello, my name is Randy Paul, and I'm the Green Party candidate for County Commissioner in Monroe County, Indiana. I'm proud to represent our party this year and the 4 pillars of our platform. I think the success of the Green Party, and especially the success of the Green New Deal, depends on our candidates running for elected office at the local level. It's going to take local candidates talking face to face with their family, friends, and neighbors to convince them that the Green New Deal will not only help save our planet, but help lead us out of the horrible damage our current pandemic has created. While this pandemic has been horrible in terms of lives lost and economic damage done, it also gives us a unique opportunity through the Green Deal to rebuild our society into one that is more equitable for all of our citizens. If we use the Green New Deal as the lens to focus on the problems of racial equity, shared economic opportunity, and climate justice, we will all benefit from the true reform this country needs. In 2018, the Democratic Party stole the Green New Deal and called it their own after the Green Party first introduced it in 2009. From the first day the Democrats stole the idea, they immediately started to water it down. It is safe to assume that by the time the Green New Deal ever gets a vote in Congress, it will be so ineffective that it won't save a small garden plot, much less the planet. If we truly want to fight climate change, we have to start electing Green Party candidates. Does anyone really believe that the two-party system can handle the difficult problems we face today? If you do, I would invite you to go back and watch the first presidential debate that was this week, and then ask yourself that question again. All I ask in my election in Monroe County and the rest of the country is give the Green Party a chance. The current two-party system has shown you what they have to offer. How's that worked out for you? For real change, give the Green Party a chance. If not for yourself, for your kids and your grandchildren. If you like more information about my campaign, you can go to my website, randygpaul.com. Thank you for listening.
Good evening. I'm Deetta Wilcoxon, candidate for Congress 13th Congressional District, running because I truly do believe that all politics is local. My opponent would have you believe that there are two issues in the district. One, her disdain for the president, and two, the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. I submit to you that it is neither. We need jobs in the 13th Congressional District that ensure that we are not a part of the working poor. That is un-American. We need public education that truly ensures that our children are globally competitive. We need health care that is applicable to all, but also has a public option. We need to ensure that federal dollars are brought back into the district. When we send a representative to Washington, we send her to fight for federal dollars on our behalf to be returned to our district so that they can be used the way we, the residents, in conjunction with our leaders, want those dollars used. I cannot compete with my opponent as it relates to spending. But then, this is America. We don't require that one spend an enormous amount of money. Our votes are not for sale. They are earned. And I offer you a body of work, 4.5 decades of working in the trenches for we the people. I am Deetta Wilcoxon, candidate for Congress, 13th Congressional District, and I humbly ask you for your vote. May God bless America.
Hi, I'm Justin Paglino, and I am running for U.S. House of Representatives in the 3rd Congressional District of Connecticut. I am the Green Party nominee. I'm 47 years old. I have an MD and a PhD. I worked for many years in a virological laboratory studying oncolytic viruses, or viruses that infect cancers. And I've always been passionate about politics. I've never run for office before, but I felt this year it was important that there be a candidate on the ballot who supports certain issues. There's certain issues that I felt needed a candidate. One of them is Medicare for all. First and foremost, people need medical care. Medicare for all, extremely popular. 85% of Democrats, 2/3 of Americans. This is the way other countries disperse healthcare. This is the way we should be dispersing healthcare equally to everyone. And it will actually save us money. It's estimated to save up to $500 billion per year. It's a public expense instead of a private expense, but it saves us money. And you can look at the studies on my website that show that. I also want to do something urgently about climate change. I think we need to ban fracking. And I also want to change the way we vote. I think a lot of people are tired of a two-party system. Two-party system has a lot of drawbacks, and there's an easy way out. A lot of people don't know that there's something called ranked choice voting, which is a very easy solution to the two-party trap. You can rank your choices on the ballot, 1, 2, 3. If your first choice comes in last, your vote goes to your second choice, and so you haven't thrown away your vote, you haven't tipped the election, you still get to have your say. And it's a wonderful thing. It's a way they vote in Ireland, Australia, and some other. They're using it now in New York City for municipal elections, in Los Angeles, and they're using it this year in Maine in statewide elections. There's a Senate race with 3 candidates. So anyway, I have a lot more I could say, but I just wanted to introduce myself, give people a chance to hear me talk, and please write me an email. I'd be happy to answer any questions or discuss anything with you that you would like, and I hope to meet you soon. Thanks. Bye.
Hello, I'm Ronnie Henley. I'm an independent endorsed by the Green Party candidate for Tennessee U.S. Senate. I am a 43-year-old Christian from New Bern, Dyer County, Tennessee. Also, I'm a Penn Foster High graduate with honors in management, economics, personal computers, home inspection, and children's services. I support the federal job guarantee, Medicare for all, education, infrastructure, the war on poverty, and the Green New Deal. For more information, go to Ronnie Henley for U.S. Senate 2020 on Facebook.
Hello, everyone. My name is Susan Odgers, O-D-G-E-R-S. Kind of rhymes with Rogers. I'm running for the Wayne State Board of Governors this fall, November 3rd, and I'd like to ask for your vote. I'm a graduate of Wayne State, and in 1987, I moved north to Traverse City. And in Traverse City, for the past 30 plus years, I've been a professor at Northwestern Michigan College and also taught for Ferris State University and Grand Valley State University. I know students, I know their families, I know higher education, I know a university and how it comes together. I have a lot of other board experience. Currently, I'm on the board of our public library and also the chair of the Traverse City Human Rights Commission. When I ask students what they're looking for, they're very concerned about their mental health issues, social justice, and concerns about the climate. Just today, I was told by the Wayne State Board of Governors administration that I am not able to speak in public comment tomorrow at their meeting. I was told that if they allowed me to do this, they would have to allow all candidates running for office to speak. And my comment is, open the gates. What would be so wrong with all of the candidates getting to speak? I'm very, very sad and very concerned about this experience. If they won't let me, a former grad, 2-time Rumble Fellow, a person that has been so involved in higher ed and Wayne, and in particular, my family and friends still live in the Detroit area, then what are they going to do when it comes to all of you? I also want to say that the taxpayers of Michigan give Wayne State, a public university, tens of millions of dollars. Yet the most common comment I get from people is, I don't know what any of those education boards do. I never know who to vote for. And I intend to change that. I intend to be your voice at the table for all of the taxpayers, all of the people, regardless of party. We must work together. We can do better. We will do better.